It is the Riot Podcast. Thinking about a piece of Costco pizza for lunch?
Maybe. Well, you know what I'm thinking about?
What?
We only have a few more days, 2 days of the RadioU Fall Fundraiser, special versions of our podcast. And then next week, we'll be back with our normal length podcast. Can we again thank you? The amount of support from our podcast listeners this fundraiser has been extraordinary. And just your kind words for people that listen to this podcast every day and you've been supporting.
Yeah, I've actually been really excited about that because I know you guys are out there. We hear from you. You know, we get the emails, we get the tweets, we get whatever. But you guys have really shown up and supported the podcast, and I appreciate it.
It's nice when we hear from you,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like keeping RadioU on the air, keeping the Riot on the air, and keeping our podcast on the air, we kind of have to really hear from you with a financial gift. And everybody's comments have been so kind.
Yeah, and you know, I'll just say as a side note, like it's really starting to turn into a thing to pay a premium for podcasts. I've added a couple of podcasts launched that I'm interested in that are behind a paywall, and I was like, man, am I going to pay for that? Maybe, because I'm really interested in it. So we appreciate the fact that we give the podcast away, but you guys are still supporting it.
Yeah, that's so
to keep
nice
it
of you
around.
guys.
Really a big deal. So thank you for doing that. Today in the podcast, we talk about free tattoos.
We do Arby's fans, Arby alert.
Sushi, some new details, rumors, but they feel pretty real about that Disney streaming service and the PlayStation Classic.
That's been announced.
That got announced like while I was
It's
sleeping
a baby
or something.
PlayStation.
It's a little PlayStation.
It's a little
It
baby
wants-
PlayStation.
It wants to grow up, but it's just so little.
It's so cute and tiny.
So you guys enjoy today's podcast, and we'll be here. Actually, from your perspective, we're not going anywhere. From my perspective, I got to go to Costco.
So tomorrow's podcast will be a celebration of Obadiah's birthday.
Oh, yeah, right. That's the thing.
So don't forget to follow us at RadioU Riot on Facebook and RadioU Riot on our YouTube channel. And make sure you get ready to send your birthday congratulations and your birthday wishes.
It is the Riot.
Recycling paper is like planting a tree. Recycling the Riot is like burning down the rainforest.
We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
I was actually reading here about a guy who is I guess he's a power lifter. Well, he's an Ironman triathlete. His name is Jaroslav Bobrowski.
Yeah.
Dude, he's broing out. Bobrowski?
Because it has bro in it?
Yes. He's an Ironman athlete who's I'm telling
You're
you,
having a hard
there's
time
a
with
bro
that.
joke in there. There is.
What's his first name again?
Jaroslav?
Okay, it's just as hard. All right.
Yeah,
the
it's
guy,
not.
yes. What about him?
Let's call him Jay.
Jay, that's
You know,
fine.
Jay, he likes sushi, which is something I can't understand, but people do.
I love it.
Why?
Because it's great. It's so light but delicious.
So we're just going to lie about why we
And I
like
also really love tempura that goes with sushi. So,
it. Okay. All right.
like the fried vegetables and the shrimp. Oh, gosh. Yep.
Okay, but I asked you why it was good. So
It's
when are we going to get
delicious.
to the part
no,
that's good?
You just don't like the flavors. He actually really does not like that. Think about when we go for sushi and you get teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
Teriyaki chicken and rice. That's what you order.
That's right. And they charge me like 4 times what it's worth.
And it's usually like the kids' teriyaki because, you know, you're at a sushi place.
Like there's a fat man out there that won't eat sushi.
He won't eat sushi, so
Make
give
him
something.
2 kids' plates and charge him 3 times as much.
Yes, that's why we don't go there very much.
It's one of my favorite things in the world. Well, Jay, he was eating at a sushi place called Running Sushi. They're in Germany, and they have an all-you-can-eat sushi thing. Now, Jay is like you, Nikki. He's an intermittent faster.
Yeah.
But he's one of the intense ones.
So does he only eat 1 hour a day?
2 hours a day.
2 hour day? You have a window of 2 hours.
No, okay, that's not it. He's 20 hours. 20 hours off, 4 hours on.
Okay. But when
That's
you do
still
that,
a lot.
you're sitting there, and I mean, when you eat, it's time for you to really eat.
You're
Like, you're not
eating.
playing around.
So he showed up at Running Sushi, $18.49. It's about what it would cost in the U.S. And he ate so much sushi that he is now banned from the restaurant.
Well, you can't do that unless in the fine print they say there is actually a limit. Because if not, it's all you can eat.
No. They say he's out. Running Sushi is out.
But he's an intermittent faster, and he's a bodybuilder. Like he's an athlete. He can put it away.
He's an outlier, and he is one of the ones that's breaking the system. And they were just like, You've been here 4 hours.
And then they get out. I bet you some of the conflict might have happened because I'm sure they explained to him, you got to go. And then maybe everybody got mad at each other. And then that was it. You wouldn't just come to the table and say, you got to leave your band.
He doesn't sound like he's too upset about it. Like, he said he tried to tip the server a bunch, like, to make up for it. And the server would not accept the tip. The owner told him that he couldn't come back. And he has a history of going to this restaurant and, like, eating them under the table.
So they were done.
So they're just like, we're not doing this anymore. And he offered to come back. He's like, hey, this is my favorite place. Like, I'll pay more. Like, what can I do? And they were just like, nope.
They don't want to deal with him?
You know what?
Again, that's unfair. He just eats more.
Are you? I feel like you're defending him because he's a fellow IFer.
No, but he has a certain window. You got to eat a lot within the 4 hours. But if he's an athlete, he can put away more.
Which is why he apparently needs to pay.
He's not allowed to go anymore.
They're like, do not even come in here. I'm not saying this happened, but I just see them circulating his photo to the other restaurants in the area.
Restaurants he's not allowed.
Beware this man.
All right. Well, sorry to the man.
Man, I'm hungry.
If you're looking for a peaceful start to your morning, you should look somewhere else. It's The Riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, after the show was over yesterday, something got announced and people went ape for it. And we couldn't talk about it. We were in the middle of the fundraiser.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we could just turn the show off and focus on, other things. So I've been sitting on this for about 24 hours. And that is, you may have even seen it. We didn't talk about it. The PlayStation Classic. Mm-mm. Did you see that yesterday? So to me, out of nowhere, I mean, maybe people knew this was coming, but I hadn't heard.
Is it like a Nintendo one? Or
it is.
Like the little boxes?
Yep, it's all that.
So it's an old PlayStation, but a small one?
It is a PlayStation 1 that is approximately, less than half the size of the original PlayStation, and it contains 20 games. It's $100.
Woo, we're getting up there. We're getting up there for what it is. It's cute though.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot, but
it's cute.
$100 US, $130 Canadian.
So it's basically retro gaming consoles, and when Nintendo's done this with two of them, and they've sold so well for them, so I am not surprised that someone else is doing it.
So I don't believe they've put out an entire list of the games that are on it. I've got here Wild Arms, Tekken 3, Final Fantasy 7, and they say 17 other legendary titles. Their words, not mine.
Only because that was kind of a sticking point for the Nintendo stuff. But does it come with a controller, one or two of them? Or
let's see. It comes with, I believe, two. Whoa. Okay, wait a minute. If this is everything that's in the box, that's two controllers.
Two of them? Okay.
So I think it's two of them. And
that comes on December 3rd.
Mm-hmm. It says it's 45% smaller than the original PlayStation. And as Nikki said, it's whittle and it's kind of cute.
It is $199 technically. And that's the PlayStation Classic coming on December 3rd.
Is that how we're going to do it?
That's how they're doing it.
Is that how we're going to do it? Right
they want to let you know it's not
$100.
Oh, no. It's $99.
Okay. And they have not announced any other games. You got Final Fantasy 7, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer, something, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms, and that's it. So they say that in the coming months they will continue to make announcements. I love this idea with video games. They're just like, hey, listen, remember that old stuff? It's new again. Pay us again. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you remember how you paid all that money for it back in the day? How about you pay for it again? The gaming industry is... full of that.
Again, the retro console craze has made them a lot of money.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is this. Like, looking at those Nintendo and Super Nintendos, those I feel like age a little better because they are those 2D sprite-based graphics. The PlayStation is going to be a lot of 3D polygonal graphics, and those have not aged well.
As gracefully?
No. Like, you do not see people making throwback games that look like it should have been on the original PlayStation. You don't do that, but you do see a lot of people with a 16-bit art style that looks like it could have been on the Nintendo or on the Sega this or whatever.
That is coming on December 3rd.
$100.
Having a bad day? Blame the Riot. Everyone else does. And in fairness, it's probably their fault. RadioU.
Here's one that everybody's been talking about. Did you see that Disney, it must be a leak of some kind. So it hit Variety, and we still haven't seen an official comment from Marvel or Disney. But according to Variety, they are saying that new Disney streaming service.
Yeah, the one that's supposed to be like Netflix, but Disney and everything that Disney owns.
Yep, that.
Yeah.
It looks like they are going to be running a series of mini-series, limited series. Like, I don't know how many episodes that will translate to for their Marvel characters. But you know how on Netflix you got Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and those are really... like, I hate to say this about Daredevil because I love
Daredevil.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they are.
Don't tell me Disney, their one is going to do like A-level. Are they? Man, Netflix is messed up with this.
The rumors right now are that they'll be doing a Loki miniseries that would in fact star Tom Hiddleston.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
You're so used to like not getting anything of substance or from like known characters.
And a Scarlet Witch one that would still star Elizabeth Olsen.
Those are actually some pretty big names there with it.
Like those, you might in the movies, some people might consider them quote unquote B characters because they don't have named films. So, you know, like Thor is Loki is in Thor's movies, but you know, he's not Thor.
But
so
again,
he's a supporting character.
Compared to the Netflix character world, those are higher characters.
That's what you call a shot across the bow.
That is. So Disney
it's not official yet, though. It's all rumor, but it looks like it's probably true.
Disney just needs to release this thing. And I know it's probably next spring, they said, right?
I believe that's right.
They've already talked about they're going to have their own shows, just like Netflix has their own shows and movies as well. But dude, that thing's going to be deadly to Netflix.
I want to know, like, I'm interested in the original content, but the other thing I want to know is Disney has they own everything. Their vault is deeper than you can possibly imagine. They own Disney, they own Touchstone, they own Marvel, they own, I can't remember who else, like all these different companies. So I just want to know when they come out and they're like, hey, these are the movies that we feature on our service. Mm-hmm. What movies are they going to feature? Like, are they going to go way into the Disney back catalog and feature a lot of that? Will they feature a lot of their animated films? So, you know, they've made a boatload of money up until this point selling you their movies over and over again. I mean, think back to it. If you can go back far enough, you got the white clamshell cases they did on VHS. Then they released DVDs, and then they released Blu-rays, and then they released multiple versions of the DVD and multiple versions of the Blu-ray. You know, it's on and on and on and on and on. Do they stop that cycle?
Yeah.
And they just put all of that content there? Like, do they put Beauty and the Beast on their streaming service and then they, you know, why would anybody buy it anymore when you could just subscribe to the service?
Well, they're still buying it by subscribing to the service.
Well, but see, that's the thing is that if you pay them $20 a month, 12 times a year, that's more than you would have spent on rebuying Aladdin or whatever the heck you're buying.
I think Disney and other companies realize, like, this is how things will just keep going. So it's not going to go back to us wanting to buy a disc. It'll still just move forward to us expecting it to be a part of a streaming service and watch it anytime you want. Mm-hmm. So that's the way that industry is going.
Right.
So they might as well just get on board with that. And I think they will.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. And it looks like they are going to leverage some of the big guns.
That's what they're going to do.
You're listening to the worst of the riot.
Today sucks.
Radio U.
Let's talk about tattoos.
And Arby's.
Yeah, I'm not a tattoo guy, which is why, Nikki, I need you to speak on behalf of tattoo people everywhere.
Yes, I do have quite a few.
Okay, so.
But I don't like Arby's as much, so that's the question here.
Okay, so that being the case, here's my question to you. Is your love for tattoos enough? Actually, let's back it up. Arby's is offering for 1 day only free tattoos.
Is it Sunday, I think?
Let's see.
22nd.
No, it's Saturday.
Oh, Saturday?
Saturday, September 22nd at Port City Tattoo in Long Beach, California between, is it 10 a.m. and 8 p.m.? You guys double check if you want to go to Long Beach and get a tattoo. But that day only, you can go in and they have 1, 2, 3, probably 10 designs here that you can go in and you can get one of these tattoos for free.
So this is a Arby's tattoo. So they're food driven kind of around the company.
They are. Now, there are a couple of them that you could probably get where it would be like...
Yeah, they wouldn't know it's like Arby's.
You could probably get away with
but
it.
They would think you really like beef, so...
It's pretty weird, guys. So, my thought, though, is let's say you're going for a sleeve or something.
You have so much other stuff on you, if you're really into it, that you don't really care as much about the thought behind some of them. So for the experience and then the story of saying, hey, this is my free Arby's tattoo, you would totally go do it.
You would? Okay.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I wouldn't pick a prominent place, but I would totally get an Arby's tattoo.
Well, it doesn't say on here that there's a location that you have to get it.
I would just put it someplace that's more hidden.
Nah.
You don't have any. You don't like it.
Well, that's
it's fine.
fine. Okay, look.
So
that's why I'm talking to you about it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be as enticed. Where I love the moment of things and like being a part of an experience, and that'd be quite a funny one to be a part of.
You'd be like, hey guys, look, I got this Arby's tattoo.
Here's my Arby's tattoo. And then every time if I would go to Arby's, I'd be like, here, look, I got one.
They're like, what do you think? It's going to get you a free sandwich or something?
It doesn't, though, does it?
No, it does not. It's just a free tattoo.
The tattoo is free. I'm sure you'd have to...
these tattoos, look at them. They're big. They're probably expensive.
You're going to have to wait forever if you even get in.
Yeah. Well,
they take... Well, no.
You think so?
If you go to a normal studio, that's probably an hour.
Yeah.
No, these are small. That's an hour of work right there. And they're just going to literally herd you on in. For lack of a better term.
Yeah,
so you just can't get through probably more than 20 or so people. So you must line up early.
All right. Well, if you guys really want that free Arby's tattoo.
That's in Long Beach on Saturday.
It would be easier for me if you were just like, hey, you know the Big Montana? It's a pound of beef. We're giving those away. I'd be like, all right, I'm in line.
I'll take one.
I'll take that because that's something. Look. The thing is, like a Big Montana, that Arby's sandwich, you're going to regret it. Like, that's what eating at Arby's is. You eat now and you regret later.
That's what a tattoo is.
I know.
That's the same thing.
But what I want to say is that regret lasts 24 hours tops, maybe 36 if it's, bad. But you're done. With that Arby's tattoo, you're going to be like...
You hate it forever. That's normal.
36 hours, you're still rubbing the cream on it.
Where they say a moment on the lips and a lifetime on the hips? Yes, because you're putting the tattoo there.
Because you put your tattoo there.
So again, that's in Long Beach for fans of Arby's and fans of tattoos.
So if you're in California or willing to make the trip, free tattoo, as long as you pick from one of their designs.
And if you're in line and you're chosen.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.